Oh, just dropped into the studio is this, the Laney Ironheart Loud Pedal. It's a 2-channel 60-watt amplifier in a pedal format designed in collaboration with 𝗦𝗨𝗪 and built in the UK. In this video, I'm going to plug it in and show you how it sounds through this Laney cab, which has got Vintage V30s in it. We'll also plug it into the DI and hear how that sounds. I'll put a bunch of pedals through it and a bunch of guitars, and at the end of the video, I'll let you know whether I think you should buy it or not. Channel 1 has volume and gain. Channel 2 also has volume and gain. They share an EQ section and a tone knob. There's also a foot-switchable reverb just here and a foot-switchable boost, which are based on Laney pedals. And that switch in the middle changes you from channel 1 to channel 2 and vice versa. On this side, we've got the input for the guitar. And on this side, we've got the effects loop, which you can also use as a line out, and the output to your speaker cab, which is minimum 8 ohms, meaning it will run at 16 ohms, but it'll have slightly less wattage. And then round on the back, we have a whole host of features. We've got MIDI in and through. We've got an XLR DI out, which you can switch between 2 included Laney IRs, or load your own, or indeed turn the IRs off if you want to use some external device like a 𝗬𝗢𝗪𝗥𝗧 or something. And then we've got an aux in, we've got a headphones out, we've got the power adapter in, and we've got USB-C, which is an audio interface and for loading your impulse responses. Right, let's start with some cleans and work our way up through some gain. And unless I say so, everything is going to be coming from the loud pedal into this Laney cab and mic'd up by this Lewitt dynamic mic. So as a clean, it's pretty darn good. It's dynamic, it's clear, and I've got the boost engaged actually, which does make a slight difference. If I turn it off, you can, well, maybe you can hear the slight difference. It might be psychological, but I can hear a slight reduction of the highs. But if we put that boost on a little bit, you can get quite a nicely little blues sound out of it. So here's the clean. So let's gain it up a little bit. And to do that, I'm just going to switch this from clean to symmetrical clipping. And then we'll check out the asymmetrical clipping as well. So that's symmetrical. Let's try asymmetrical. So there's a huge difference between those 3 settings. And for cleans, I love it. Asymmetrical, I think, for me personally, tips the sound of the symmetrical. I don't know why, it just sounds warmer and rounder and bigger and possibly louder. Right, I'm going to go over to channel 2 and see how that sounds. There's a lot of power there. The gain's about, what, 7? Also, that's in neutral mode. We've got neutral here, bright and dark. Let's put it in bright for a moment. This could potentially get quite doomy. I think it's time to go baritone through this, and then we'll put some pedals through it. I'm so excited to play something that sounds so good and is so small. I haven't changed the settings from the previous example, but let's do that. Let's blindly, or rather deftly, change them. Turn the reverb down a bit, turn the gain up. It's getting a little noisy now. Tone down, treble down, bass and middle up. We're still on that bridge pickup. No, it needs a bit of clarity. So it is quite noisy at this stage, but gains all the way up. If I put it into bright mode, that's kind of counterintuitive, but I think that's going to sound better on a low-tuned guitar. Bear with me. Yes, so with the baritone, it needs a bit of top stuck in it to give that clarity, but I'm missing some bottom end. Let's boost that bass. Yeah, that's a lot better. Hang on, gain down, it's noisy. It needs that top end, and it needs a bit of sort of maybe the neck pickup to really... I'm kind of missing a little bit of low end, bottom end, trouser flapping, but you probably don't need that in a band. If I was recording that or mixing it live, I'd probably mix that out, but it's nice to feel when you're playing alone. Let's put something humbuckery and a fuzz through it. Oh, that's interesting. It kind of doesn't like that bottom end very much. The bass is all the way up. Hang on. Yeah, that's better. Sorry about that. Let's just set those in the middle at the moment. And I'm on gain channel 2. Let's go to channel 1 and listen to that. This should be a bit cleaner. Is it on clean? Now it is. It's alive. The fuzz is still there. It's responsive to my touch. I'm hitting quite hard. Certainly not backing off at all, but let's try backing off and see what happens. I think it sounds great. That's one of my favorite fuzzes, the Legacy fuzz from Cornell, and it's always really thick and fat, but clear, and it stays that way through the Ironheart Loud Pedal. I guess it does fuzz, it does clean, it does rock. I want to see if it does heavier now, so high gain. I'm gonna get my Rev G3 and find that. So I couldn't find the Rev G3, so I've gone with the Red Mist instead. Here it is clean. See, I don't think you'll get that level of gain with just the amp, or that kind of gain. It's a more rock sort of gain. It just ends up being more gain. Oh. I'm surprised. That actually sounds really good. I take it back. You will get that level of gain. You just need to use the right guitar with the right pickup. I'm shocked. I prefer that to the clean channel with the red mist, which I normally really love. That's fantastic. Yeah. All right. You do not need a pedal to get that big old guitar sound. I bet I could get it with just using the boost as well. Hang on. That's a sound I could play forever. Right, what are those settings? I'm gonna screenshot that and come back to that later on my own personal time. That's brilliant. Now that was really fun, and I'd be happy with just that sound. That is a cracking sound, but in order for this amp to really suit a lot of people, it's got to be versatile. And it does a good clean and good pedal into the clean, but also I can use my 45 caliber from J-Rocket as a preamp. So I can take that into the return of the effects loop, like that, and then guitar into pedal. And now I've bypassed all of this. I'm just using the power amp. And that sounds like this. And that's how that works. And that's how you could use this Laney Loud Pedal with your multi-effect system, like your HX Stomps and your HX1 or your Quad Cortex or whatever you're rocking these days. Maybe an Ampero. My point is that this is a very versatile little box. But when you start adding things to it, like any amplifier, then that's when it becomes even more versatile. But I would argue that most people, definitely me, could get away with just using the Loud Pedal on its own. You've got 4 main sounds once you've set them. You've got clean and clean boost, or let's say channel 1 and channel 1 boost, and channel 2 and channel 2 boost. With 60 watts at 8 ohms, you could definitely keep up with the drummer if you're using an efficient cab. I am more than happy with those 2 Vintage V30s in there. That is banging in this room. So let's round this up and I'll go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. So first, the good. And number one good point has to be the sound. I don't think there's a bad sound in this, or at least I haven't found one yet. Everything I wanted it to do, it did. It does a great dynamic-ish clean. It could be more dynamic, but I'm happy with it. The crunch is great, and the high gain is surprisingly good, and I proved myself wrong there. I thought it wasn't going to go super high gain, but the Starcaster section was a big surprise and a pleasant one at that. The reverb is good, it's usable, it'll sit you in a mix, it'll give you some space. If it's not to your taste, stick one in the effects loop and away you go. But if you just need something to eat away at that dryness, this reverb will do it for you. And of course, the boost is there if you need a bit more drive or a bit more volume for a solo. The second good point has to be the connectivity. So you've got that USB-C for updating stuff and recording. You've got MIDI, so you can switch things around if you're in a MIDI setup, which I don't do personally, but if you're into that, you're going to be very pleased with this. And the effects loop, it could have not had an effects loop in it, and that would have definitely eaten away at the versatility. It's got one. It also runs 60 watt at 8 ohms, so Laney, you're not trying to kid us with a half wattage, so 30 watts at 8 ohms and 60 watts at 4 ohms like some other companies have done. That is very honest and very cool of Laney. The third good point is the form factor. It's tiny. It's about the same size as, 2.5, maybe 3 Boss pedals? So, yeah, that's on screen. It's pretty tiny, and it doesn't weigh much more than 3 Boss pedals either. So you could easily stick that in a gig bag and rock up if they've got a back line. In you go, off you go. And, you're done without having to carry much. And I'm always up for being a bit lazy when it comes to carry stuff. And also the DI out is a massive plus point because you've got those optional IRs, and if you don't like one, you might like the other. If you don't like either of those, you can load your own, or you can turn it off and use something external. But I did record all of this video with those IRs, so have a listen to these. Now, I think that sounds pretty darn good, but if it's not to your taste, of course, just load your own expensive IRs and send a signal straight to the mixing desk and make a sound engineer very happy. It's not all good, but I wouldn't really call these bad points, but just sort of nice to haves, maybe. Well, the first one is a bit weird. There's a kind of volume jump around sort of 6 and 7, so it goes nice, 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 boom, big jump around there, which is a bit weird. And also, when you change channel, let's just turn those volumes down just in case. When you change channel from 1 to 2, let's say you have the boost on channel 2, as it is now. You change back to channel 1, it stays on. So we turn it off, and then back to channel 2, it's off again. So, yes, you can use 1 foot. That's not very wide space. You could do that if you wanted to change the boost at the same time. But it would be nice if it remembered the status of the boost. Now, there is nothing ugly about this. There's nothing I hate. There's just a few would-be nice-to-haves. I guess we have to talk about the price because I was told, I'm not sure because this is going to go out on day of release, it's £399 or $499 and around in the middle somewhere for euros, which could be quite high for some people. And if you just want a simple power amp, that's too much, because you could just buy a cheaper power amp and use all your pedals. If you want an all-in-one rig that's reliable and is extremely versatile and has MIDI and does recording, then this should definitely be on your list. Just picking it up now, I've noticed it's not hot in any way, and there are no tubes in it, but some of these pedalboard amps have fans and stuff to keep them cool. This just has ventilation, which seems to be enough in this pretty hot room, and it's been on for about 3 hours. So, my bottom line, if you want a built-in-the-UK pedalboard amp that you could gig with on its own or add stuff to get an even more versatile rig, try the Laney Loud Pedal. At least try it when you're demoing all your gear and seeing which one to buy. If I had to go to a gig with just this, I would be more than happy. Right, there's the subscribe button, and down there is a video that the YouTube algorithm gods have decided you should watch next. Don't forget the comments section to tell me what you think of the Laney Ironheart Loud Pedal, and I will see you in the next one. I hope this helped. Bye-bye!